We knew Shara from a reggae project that she did with Adrian Sherwood and Mark Stewart, and it was a case that her voice was so amazing that, you know, we just wanted it. And Adrian just gave us Shara.
But the main thing was also the Wild Bunch. You know, we worked, you know, with Shara on a Wild Bunch single, "The Look of Love," which was the first time, I guess, as a collective bunch of guys from a sound system have gone into a studio and sort of got into, you know, recording space as an outfit as opposed to a sound system with also the original members, Nelly and Milo, you know, etc., etc. And Shara working on that original track, "The Look of Love," was probably one of the key moments of setting up the whole entire Bristol sound, and to a certain respect, the whole sort of production sort of method which followed through the whole of the 90s. It was just really raw beats, bass, naked, you know what I mean, and with just the vocal, and that was something that, you know, Miles was responsible for effectively, and it influenced everyone from you know, Tim Simon and the Bond the bass, Smith and Marty, and Portishead and ourselves, and everyone that went after that, I think, and that, I think, in turn influenced the way, you know, the R&B thing happened in hip hop by, you know, putting a song over a drum beat and a rhythm without worrying about the kind of music. Me and Tricky used to live together, obviously, and it was, you know, we're both Aquarians, and, you know, we were both absolute, you know, egocentric, sort of egomaniacs, in fact, you know. Oh yeah, you know, it's like, you know, just like you, mate. You know how to recognise one.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it was, you know, it was good fun, you know. I think, and Tricky was, you know, he's a very kind of big personality, man. He's, you know, he's hilarious. He's full on. He engages you. Do you know what I mean? He can hold an audience, and he's, you know, he's a really clever guy, man. And around that time, you know, also him coming to the Wild Bunch late when there was already 4 or 5 people with very strong personalities who were very, very belligerent and argumentative. He did pretty well to hold his own, didn't he?
Yeah, considering he got bullied by us.
By you?
By you.
By you? I live with him. I didn't bully him. It was interesting working with Nicolette. She was another sort of female presence, very strong. You know, you get 3 or 4 guys in a room who are completely convinced that they got the right way, and they're sure of their path and their destiny, and you bring in someone else because you want their sort of their take on things, and then they come in and give you their take on things. You're like, wow, wait a minute, that's, you know, that's a bit too strong, isn't it? But with Nicolette, she was very much a personality and a character, and she had a real sort of thing about her, and it was just real fun to work with her. You know, it was really, I think she enjoyed the sort of like what was happening within the sort of like the group dynamic. That's a horrible phrase, but, you know, that is kind of how it works out. Obviously, we come into contact with a lot of people, you know, and it's really good and really exciting. I think that the main problem is concentration, because you're kind of completely in a space and you get so many things to listen to, and it's really hard to be in. It's kind of that alchemy when you're in the right position, when someone comes to you and you get them, they get you, and it's all, you've got the time to do it, and it's all right and it's all good. Because often you're completely caught up in your own shit, and they are as well, and it just comes sort of crosses over. Debbie Clare's great. I mean, she's, you know, she's in a band called and they're from Brighton, and they're really cool, and, you know, she's really good fun, and she's got like another person with a really wonderful voice, which goes off between indie and opera, you know, or opera and indie, if it don't sound like Indian opera. It's not like a Bombay thing, you know what I mean? Anyway. The weird thing about listening to that track, after probably realistically not listening to that track for 7, 8 years at all, not even it being in the room, and it just sounded a bit like the sort of D'Angelo stuff that was happening, you know, which is great, really good sort of funk, but with a real kind of roomy feel, like you're there with them. Do you know what I mean? And this track obviously is very produced, but it had a real sort of like a nice grinding sort of like bass and beat, and the dogs and all the stuff that was going on, and then obviously Madge singing the Marvin Gaye song, which she sang really well and really beautifully, and she was really kind of really sincere about it, which was, you know, everyone who was involved in that album wanted to do something because it was a homage, and everyone felt strongly about it. It was a great project to be around. It's a very American, you know, very sort of USA experience. Lots of lawyers, you know, lots of producers all involved. When we try to put the the credits together, there was about sort of 50 names that suddenly appeared because they all get a co-production credit. We were like, sorry mate, but you know.
Stayed in the house, didn't we, when we were doing it?
They were in the same complex as Madonna. It was a tennis court and a swimming pool between us, at least, maybe 2 or 3, I'm not sure. But no, we went to New York and had a really good time in the studio. I mean, she was just, you know, a really an amazing professional, which sounds really crap and really cold, but she was, you know, she's obviously a great performer too, and it was just a really bizarre experience for someone like us who kind of just weren't in that world. But there was a mutual respect thing going on, and everyone, because it was the Marvin Gaye thing, there was a reverential sort of treatment. Everyone was tiptoeing around it carefully because no one wanted to step out of line because it was such a great sort of legacy.